The 8th of February, 1977. A cold, gray morning in Indianapolis, Indiana, sets the scene for a day that would shock the entire nation. Inside the offices of Meridian Mortgage, a quiet winter workday is about to be shattered by a desperate man's arrival. Anthony Tony Kiritsis, a real estate developer, enters the building with a heavy heart and a dark, singular purpose in mind. Years of financial struggle had pushed him to the edge, convinced that the mortgage company had stolen his dreams and his future. His anger had festered into a dangerous obsession, leading him to believe that sabotage was the cause of his project's collapse. He walks through the doors carrying a sawed-off .22 gauge shotgun, his eyes scanning the room for the company president. But the president, M.L. Hall, is away on vacation, leaving his son, Richard Hall, to face the intruder alone. In a sudden, violent turn of events, Richard Hall is taken hostage, becoming a pawn in a terrifying game of revenge. Kiritsis reveals a horrific invention, a device that would soon become infamous across the country as the dead man's wire. He presses the shotgun against the back of Richard's head, securing it with a complex system of wires and tension. A wire runs from the shotgun's trigger directly to Kiritsis's own neck, creating a lethal connection between captor and captive. The mechanism is designed so that any sudden movement, police intervention, or even a collapse by Kiritsis would fire the weapon. It is a nightmare scenario for law enforcement, as any attempt to rescue the hostage could result in an immediate execution. Kiritsis takes the initiative, dialing the police himself to announce the hostage situation and set his own terms. When officers arrive on the scene, they are confronted with a sight they have never seen before in their careers. The hostage is physically tethered to the barrel of the gun, making the situation seem almost impossible to resolve safely. Tony isn't finished yet. He forces Richard Hall to walk with him out of the office and into the city streets. Bystanders watch in horror as the pair emerges, with the shotgun still locked firmly against the back of Richard's head. Kiritsis hijacks a police vehicle, demanding that his hostage take the wheel while he maintains his lethal grip on the weapon. A surreal caravan of squad cars begins to form, following the hijacked vehicle as it moves through downtown Indianapolis. Television crews and news reporters scramble to cover the event, broadcasting the bizarre scene to millions of homes across America. The convoy winds its way through the city, a slow-motion nightmare unfolding under the gaze of a captivated public. Finally, the vehicle arrives at the apartment complex where Kiritsis lives, with police surrounding the perimeter in silence. Officers soon discover that the apartment is booby-trapped with explosives, adding another layer of peril to the standoff. Richard Hall remains trapped inside, still connected to the shotgun, while the world waits with bated breath for news. For 63 agonizing hours, the nation remains glued to their television sets, watching the drama unfold in real time. Kiritsis uses the power of the media to his advantage, calling local radio personality Fred Heckman to broadcast his demands. Over the airwaves, he explains his grievances, detailing how he believes the mortgage company ruined his life and his business. He demands a public apology, a massive sum of $5 million in compensation, and total immunity from any prosecution. At times, he even holds bizarre press conferences, speaking to the media as if he were a man on a righteous crusade. He refers to himself as a national hero, a delusion that highlights the extreme mental state of the hostage-taker. Inside the apartment, the tension is suffocating, with every second feeling like an eternity for the captive Richard Hall. Police negotiators work tirelessly, trying to find a way to de-escalate the situation without triggering the deadly wire. The hours stretch into days, and the physical and mental exhaustion begins to take a toll on everyone involved in the crisis. One wrong move by the police or a moment of instability from Kiritsis could end in a tragic loss of life. The public watches the updates, hoping for a peaceful resolution to a situation that seems destined for a violent end. Finally, after nearly 3 days of intense negotiations, a breakthrough begins to emerge in the long, drawn-out standoff. Kiritsis agrees to surrender, but only after receiving a written statement that acknowledges the mistreatment he claims to have suffered. The document is signed, and the tension in the room reaches a breaking point as the final moments of the crisis arrive. Miraculously, the wire is detached, and Richard Hall walks away from the apartment physically unharmed after his ordeal. The 6-3-hour standoff concludes, leaving a nation stunned by the sheer audacity and terror of the entire event. Tony Kiritsis is immediately taken into custody, but the legal battle that follows would prove to be just as complex. The trial captures the public's attention once again, as the defense argues the mental state of the accused developer. Ultimately, the jury finds Kiritsis not guilty by reason of insanity, a verdict that sparks intense debate across the state. He is sent to psychiatric institutions, where he spends more than a decade under care before eventually being released. The case leaves a lasting mark on the legal system, prompting significant changes to Indiana's existing insanity laws. These new statutes become known as the Kiritsis Law, a direct legacy of the bizarre and dangerous hostage crisis. Nearly 5 decades later, the story of the Dead Man's Wire continues to fascinate true crime enthusiasts everywhere. It has now inspired the crime thriller film Dead Man's Wire, directed by the acclaimed filmmaker Gus Van Sant. The movie stars Bill Skarsgård, who delivers a chilling performance as Tony Kiritsis, capturing his complex and volatile nature. The film aims to dramatize the events of 1977, recreating the atmosphere of the hostage crisis with intense detail. Viewers can see the recreation of the infamous police car hijacking, a moment that defined the bizarre nature of the case. The movie also focuses on the terrifying design of the wire device, showing how it held the nation in suspense. It is currently available for streaming on Netflix, allowing a new generation to discover this unbelievable piece of history. Some crimes are forgotten as time passes, but others manage to etch themselves permanently into the cultural memory. The Tony Kiritsis case is one such story, evolving from a news headline into a legendary tale of American crime. It remains a haunting reminder of how quickly an ordinary day can spiral into a life-altering, historic event. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most unusual hostage situations in the history of the United States. If you found this story compelling, please make sure to subscribe to our channel for more historical true crime content. Let us know in the comments below what other mysterious or historical stories you would like us to cover next.